I want to welcome you to the Engineer Your Success podcast. My name is Dr. James Bryant, your host. This podcast provides tools, tips, and techniques to help you achieve success both in business and in life. It is my pleasure to guide you on your journey to designing and living a life where you are winning at work and at home. Hope that you are having a great week. This week, really, really important topic. We're midway through the year, a little over halfway through the year. And as I was preparing to engage with the Engineer Your Success community that are on the email list, I thought earlier last week about, we're just about midway through the year. Maybe it's time for us to do a check in. So I sent an email that basically was laying out some questions for a mid-year review. The responses that I got back from that email have been phenomenal. And so I thought it would benefit our community to do a podcast episode on this. So today, our focus is drive your success, how to use a mid-year review to accelerate growth. And so we're going to dig into this. So, but before we get started, I just want to thank you again for celebrating with us 2 years of podcast episodes. We celebrated that with episode 104, where I had Jerome Myers come and interview me, where I talked about the origins of the Engineer Your Success podcast. Jerome, another shout out to you. Thank you for having me be on the cover of Dreamcatcher's Digest, as well as for conducting that interview. I really appreciate your friendship and just want to thank you again. All right. So let's talk about this thing about a mid-year review. Why is it important, right? So a mid-year review is essentially a check-in or a moment where we take to assess how we've come in our journey towards meeting our personal and professional goals. You can think of this as a pit stop in a race where you have the opportunity to fine tune or to make some adjustments to make sure that your vehicle is running smoothly and efficiently. Anything that needs to be changed out, now is the time to change it out so that you can finish the race strong, so that you can finish the year strong and achieve the goals that you set forward. And so it's important because it helps to keep our objectives front and center. When we think about all of the everyday activities that we're dealing with, it's easy to get sidetracked and lose sight of what we're aiming for. And so a mid-year review helps to pull us back into focus. It also is an opportunity for you to highlight your successes. I've talked about this a lot. We often forget to celebrate our wins in our race to achieve more. We're always wanting to achieve more. So a mid-year review, this can help you acknowledge what you've done, your victories that you've had, no matter how small. Remember, each achievement is a step toward achieving your goals. Small achievements are things that should be celebrated. A mid-year review also uncovers areas for improvement. So not every goal that you have, it might not be progressing like you'd like. And I think that's okay. The review process helps us to identify these areas and understand why progress might be slow. So it's an opportunity for you to course correct. It's an opportunity for me to course correct before the year runs out. Another thing that I think a mid-year review provides is a broader perspective, because life is complex, it's messy. Our goals are often interwoven and intertwined. And so an effective review lets you see patterns and understand how different areas of your life impact each other. And that you can then ensure that you are creating a holistic plan for your success so that you can what? Win at work and at home. It's not just about fine tuning for efficiency, but also ensuring that all of the parts of the engine is working properly and you are able to go on all cylinders. So in my experience, particularly this year, the mid-year review is a game changer, and it's a process that brings clarity, motivation, and direction. And it's an integral part of the journey to engineer your success. I've had a few client meetings since I've sent out that email, and we've been walking through this mid-year review. And it's been, I had one client who, as we were walking through the review, he says, I don't really have any personal goals. All of his goals were in the business area. So it was an opportunity for him to explore from a personal perspective, what is it that he wanted to do? And I think it's great. It gives us the opportunity to kind of check in that way. So, what do you need in order to conduct a mid year review? Number one, time and space. You need to set aside some time. It's just a quiet time where you're undisturbed. It's just a block of time where you're able to reflect without being rushed. You really want to have that time. Number two, I would say clarity on your goals. So you want to have a clear understanding of your goals, both personal and professional. If you wrote them down at the beginning of the year, great. Then it's time to get that list out. If not, then you can try to recollect the goals that you had set out to achieve. But here's a question that has come up already, which is, what do I do if I did not develop goals for this year? Can I still do a mid-year review? And my answer to that is yes. I think it's a perfect opportunity for you to start building your goals for the rest of the year. You start by answering kind of the basic questions. And we went over these questions when we did the year in review. But essentially, what you're looking at are these three major areas: what worked well, what did not work well, and what are the areas in your life or career that you would like to improve. One of the things that you can do, and you can do an internet search on this, where you can find an assessment called the Wheel of Life, where you rate different areas of your life on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you can develop goals in those areas where you want improvement. I have a few different tools that can help you do that. And so if you're interested in having me send you the Wheel of Life, what you can do, you can send me an email at james@drjamesbryant.com. That's James at drjamesbryant.com. James at dr, then it's JamesBryant.com. So if you'd like for me to do that, send me an email there and just put in the subject line Wheel of Life, and we will get that to you. The other thing that it's important for you to have when you're conducting this mid-year review is an honest self-assessment. You have to have a mirror moment. You have to be able to look in the mirror and see yourself for who you are, not who you might want to be, not who you're projecting to be, but you have to be honest with yourself. So that means that you have to be ready to honestly assess your progress. This includes celebrating those wins, because some people have an issue acknowledging and celebrating when they do well, right? That may be your thing. For other people, it's acknowledging when you fall short. But the beauty of the assessment is that you want to understand where you fall short, but also why. And the last thing I would say that you need is data, and more data. So depending on your goals, you may need access to your data, your records, whatever you are using to track progress. For your professional goals, this may be some performance reviews, feedback from your supervisors or your clients. For personal goals, it could just be a journal or habit tracker or financial statements, depending on the areas of what your goals are. And if you are not tracking, understanding that this has been said in a lot of different areas, what you measure is what you measure, what matters. And when you're measuring it tends to matter to you. And so if you're not currently tracking progress towards your goals, guess what? This is a perfect time to start. Start tracking now. That's one of the issues has been for me in my goal. When I'm tracking my food intake, I'm hitting my nutrition goals, I'm doing well. When I stop tracking, I start eating a lot more junk than I really should or I want, or I would say that I want to. So tracking really does matter. At least I found that it's been beneficial in my journey of just showing up as the healthiest version of myself. So what are the questions that we can use for your mid-year review? So these are questions that I included in the email. So we look both at personal and professional goals. We'll handle personal first in terms of the questions. Have I made progress toward my personal goals? If yes, what specific achievements have I made? Are there any personal goals that I haven't made progress on? And what factors contributed to this lack of progress? What personal habits or behaviors have helped me move closer toward my goal? Are there any habits that I need to change or to develop further? And you can essentially take each of these areas and take 1 week to kind of further explore your goal, your personal goals. And then you can take another time to look at the professional goals. So the professional goals, what progress have I made toward the professional goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year? If I have made progress, what specific accomplishments have I made? Are there any professional goals that I am not making progress on? And what steps can I take to make progress on them in the second half of the year? How have my professional skills improved since the beginning of the year? And in what areas can I continue to grow and develop? Then there's a section or questions for your overall progress. How satisfied am I with my progress overall and why? Have there been any unexpected challenges or obstacles that have hindered my progress? How have I handled them? Are there any patterns or trends in my progress that I can identify? What can I learn from them? Section 4 is on self reflection. So, how have my priorities or values shifted since the beginning of the year? If they have, how has that impacted my goals? What have I learned about myself during the past 6 months? How can I leverage this self awareness to enhance my future progress? Are there any opportunities for personal or professional development that I should pursue in the second half of the year? And this is, again, based on the self reflection for your personal goals, your professional goals, your overall progress. And then, we talk about this all the time, is that you have to have a plan and you have to execute that plan. And so the fifth area is really diving into that action plan. So based on my mid-year review, what specific actions can I take to accelerate my progress towards my goals? What resources or support do I need to accomplish these actions? And how can I hold myself accountable for the goals that I set for the remainder of the year? So remember, a mid-year review is really an opportunity for self-reflection, for growth, for improvement, to embrace honesty, celebrate your accomplishments, and to utilize the insights that are gained for that to accelerate your progress for the next year. So, there's some people that will say, why are you looking at professional goals and personal goals? And I think it's really, I think the answer to that for me is pretty simple. And that's because that mix matters. When I think of winning at work and winning at home, or my personal life and my professional life, it's a different side of the same coin, right? Um, and so winning at work should not come at the cost of totally losing at home. And so, we talk about creating win-win situations in a lot of different areas, but we don't talk about creating a win-win for us to be able to win at work and at home, to win in our businesses, to win in our families. And I think that is absolutely important as you continue to engineer your success. You have to be able to account for both. You have to be able to account for both. I emphasize that this process is one of evolution. So success, as we say, is not a destination, but a journey. So the process of self-assessment, self-reflection, and planning that we've talked about today is not just about achieving perfection, but about embracing continuous improvement. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, both personally and professionally. When we engage in this process honestly, or in having these mirror moments, we create a roadmap that doesn't just lead us to success, but it makes the journey more meaningful and enjoyable. The mid year review is a powerful tool in helping us engineer our success while maintaining the balance between our work life and our personal life. As a next step, I urge you to take some time this week to conduct your mid-year review. Take a quiet moment to sit with your thoughts, to celebrate your achievements, to contemplate areas of growth. Use the guidelines that we've discussed today to create an action plan that resonates with you, that works for you and your situation. Remember, the goal is progress, not perfection. And finally, listen, I want to hear from you. Please share your experience of conducting the mid-year review. What insights did you gain? How do you plan to address the areas of growth that you've identified? You can share your thoughts by emailing us or commenting on our social media posts. So I want to thank you again for having this conversation with me today. I'm going to end this podcast episode like I end every podcast episode, and that is this. Many people know what to do, fewer people know how to do it, and a select group of people actually follow through, do it, and are living the life of their dreams. And I want you to be part of that select few. I am Dr. James Bryant, your guide for winning at work and home, and I want you to be great this week. Thanks.